Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. Compliment, don't compete to win in marriage. Many times I hear the comment, what could you possibly have in common with a woman from the Philippines regarding, what I did and what many have done, marry someone from the Philippines. And, possibly not a lot, but the foreigner and the Filipina still need to become good teammates, one way or another, to have a successful marriage. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea if you want to learn about the ins and outs, the practicalities of a relationship with a woman from the Philippines. Go ahead, leave a comment, get notifications for upcoming videos. I married my wife in Davao City, Philippines. That was back in May of 2015. That's when we became a team. But both of us have had to learn how to play like a team. Today's video is about the teamwork aspect of being married to a Filipina. This is so important. I will only have time to really focus on 3 today and then 7 more in the next video. We win as a team, we lose as a team. We are either united or we are divided. Individual glory or success is not important. Let's get into why these cliches are true in marriage. As a lifelong sports fan, many times I have heard the expression, there is no I in team. That's because marriage isn't about each individual being fulfilled and accomplishing their will. It is about those individuals doing whatever it takes for the marriage to be fulfilling and successful, to be a perennial winner. Do whatever it takes. The best way to look at it is that these two individuals need to learn how to live like one unit. They need to be unified, even if there is an age gap, a different culture, even if the marriage was arranged. It sounds great at first to be married, but the problems arise when the individual assumes too much importance. It must be all about the new team. For me, that's a good thing because I recognize I am not smart enough or talented enough to carry my marriage to my amazing Isa. I don't want to be a lone wolf either. Being single all my life, I knew I needed to be married, and I knew that marriage doesn't come easily or even necessarily naturally. It is so different from being single, and I was single a long, long time. Fortunately for me, I married a woman who is strong where I am weak, so I don't have to be perfect. Maybe you've heard Filipinos make good wives, and they do, but playing like a team isn't automatic, and it involves some things that I want to talk about today. Let's start with complementary abilities. On any team, the players don't have the exact same skills, which is good, because if they did, they would have glaring weaknesses. In baseball, if a team has excellent hitters, but the pitchers can't get an out to save their life, they're going to lose more games than they're going to win. I don't have an aptitude for fixing things, for electronic gadgets, stuff like that, but my wife does. We enjoy some things together that I wouldn't even bother to try to, do as a single person. Long before getting married, I would say that if I ever owned a house, I wouldn't do it unless my wife had skills that a handyman would possess. Because I was sick the day those skills were handed out. My wife can do things like that. When I would say, hey, just call somebody to fix it, she would say, no, let me try to fix it first. If I said, honey, I'm the man of the house, stand back, it's my job to repair this, well, that would be silly, because I know my wife is gifted or skilled to be able to do this much better than me. When we go to the airport for the many flights it takes to get to the Philippines and back, which is eight of them, my wife naturally leads us through the maze of places we need to go and does it very easily. All that stuff makes my head spin, but I can rely on her since she is strong in the way that I am weak. My wife is bright. She's smarter than I am. She doesn't hold that over my head, though. She doesn't try to make me feel small. It is what it is, and I, as the leader of this relationship, nonetheless, do well to recognize who is better at the things that need to be done for us to operate as a unit successfully. Our egos need to go. Another way my wife is stronger is she is better at letting things go than I am. Before she immigrated here, she would tell me, let it be, let it be. Well, that's difficult to do when you want to win, when you feel you've been wronged, but my wife can manage that better than I can. So I can learn how to handle frustrating situations better, like talking to a customer service representative, or I can let her do it. A weakness of mine was exposed when I married. That is how frustrated I can get when I just can't understand how in the world something is the way it is. By the same token, while my Filipino wife is better at handling situations like this without losing her temper, she needs me to help encourage her to stand up for herself. She has met some people here who bother her, and I don't want her being pushed around, so we talk about how to handle that. Filipinos don't grow up in a culture of confrontation, so she is an easy targeting for bullying, especially being smaller and looking younger. But she doesn't have to let that happen. I am very verbal, whereas she isn't as much. But there are times when she asks me, what's the best way to express something, a proper, way to word it, and I love helping her with that. I have loved words since elementary school, which, makes up for some other shortcomings I have. When I heard a teacher in school, this must have been elementary school, I still remember, believe it or not, sitting cross-legged on the floor. She was reading us a story, and she used the word astonished. Wow, I was hooked. And I asked her, teacher, what does astonish mean? It's like the biggest word I ever heard. I couldn't believe it. It was great. And from then on, I wanted to know what words meant. Not only that, but also the synonyms and the antonyms. To me, listing all the words I can think of that start with the letter B, for example, in 30 seconds, and the longer the word, the better, would be fun. Sesquipedalian is an adjective that means a word that has many syllables with the use of long words. Remembering words is fairly easy for me. That is one strength God gave me. Naturally. Can you guess my favorite board game? What that would be? Well, if you guessed Scrabble, you would be right. So anytime I can use that ability to help my wife, I am happy. To be a good team, we need to humbly admit our weaknesses and recognize each other's strengths as something beneficial for us as a team. So also here I'll mention, don't compete. Don't compete with your spouse. You're on the same team. I suppose it's natural in a relationship to want to show each other what you're good at, but on a team, someone is better at something than you are, but there's always someone who might not have the most glaring skills, yet has an intangible quality that makes them a good teammate. I don't want to compete with my wife. I want whatever is best for us as a team. If I win in some marital situation, then our team, loses. In everything I do or allow to be done, I need to make sure that we win as a couple. Then there is this thought, find a way to win. Keeping with the sports analogy, sometimes a team has to win ugly. They just have to get it done. They aren't playing up to their capabilities, but must somehow dig down inside and find a way to win. Winning should be very important to a married couple. You play to win, don't you? We need to pick each other up when we are down, sick, in a bad mood, afraid of something, got some bad news, or are worried about something. I think concessions need to be made. Sometimes you experience losing streaks where you aren't communicating well, or the other one is somebody's acting selfishly. But as a team, we need to ride those out and get back on track. I could continue, but we'll save that for the next video about how to be a good team in marriage with a local woman or with your love beyond the sea.